Welcome one and all to Umami Manga. I'm Petter, and this is James.
Hello!
And today we're talking about Volume 9 of Kaiju number 8. Summary for this volume: Kafka finally reconnected with the old crew. A bunch of brief Kaiju sightings are reported across Japan, which the Defense Force takes as a sign that Kaiju number 9, that his return is drawing near. It seems they may be right, as the Kaiju forces did eventually return with a vengeance. And lastly, we got an epic display of both Kikoru and Soshiro using their new numbers weapon suits. So, shit's going down.
Yeah, we had the calm before the storm in a way. I mean, even before that, with the 14 unsolved kaiju cases popping up was definitely a sign of, wait a minute, something's going down.
Yeah.
But there was like a brief moment of respite before this grand plan was put into action. And it feels like this is going to be a pretty major arc.
Absolutely, yeah. It almost, I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself, but it almost seems like it could be building up to like some action, like, I don't know, like the final arc. I mean, I have no idea how long this is going to be, like this manga.
Yeah, no, that's fair. If you think that Kaiju number 9 is the end game, which I think you said in the past,
yes,
then sure, this could be that final arc. But I strongly disagree. I feel like there is more after this, especially based on how the previous volume had that cliffhanger, and how that cliffhanger was not addressed at all whatsoever in this volume. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen in the next few volumes, but I am thinking that that could be a potential plot point for after this arc as well.
Right.
So,
yeah, it's like
there is more potential.
Absolutely. I mean, while I'll stand by my what I said before about Kaiju number 9. Well, that
all right,
that he's gonna remain the big bad. I'll hold on to that. That said, though, I don't necessarily think that this has got to be the final arc, but I think it's a possibility. But yeah, I could also see this manga going on for a good while longer.
Yeah, it definitely has that potential.
Yeah.
I mean, it just introduce a new kaiju and you're good, right?
I mean, truly. Well then, let's dig into the character discussions here, starting with Kafka Hibino. He continues to train for the squadron-style combat technique, and he got his phone back, so he can talk to his friends in the 3rd Division again, which he does. And I kind of enjoyed the fact that he was so worried about what they would all think of him. It was a very real worry, I feel like, because I mean, he had no idea at all of like where they stood on all that. We of course did, and so like it wasn't a surprise to us, but it was still, I still enjoyed seeing that, like those emotions, and then that insecurity within Kafka.
Yeah, he continues to be a relatable person.
Yeah,
I was really glad to see him finally talk with Mina again.
Oh yes,
and not in a formal setting.
Precisely.
That was nice. I wish it could have been a bit more backstory there, or honestly, I wish he could have said a little bit more than what he actually did.
Right.
But I'll appreciate the little I can get.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it was a nice, like, because I guess compared to what we've gotten before, this was a pretty big thing between the two of them.
Yeah.
Still, though, yeah, could have been a bit more.
I like I said in the past, I'm still waiting for that flashback deep dive. Maybe a chapter or two about what their childhood exactly was like. Instead, we did get a bit of flashbacks, but it's it was mostly snippets of
Precisely.
What Kafka was like and how kind of overprotecting he was of Mina for some reason.
Right. Yeah, no, I really like that idea of actually going really in depth on their past. Like several chapters. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that at all, but that would be very neat. But it definitely seems like that's something that Matsumoto is kind of teasing us with still.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't say my faith in that happening is completely dashed. But at least we are getting the the nuggets here and there.
Right, absolutely. Anything else on Kafka?
No, I think that's everything.
Then let's talk a bit about Kaiju number 9 and the stuff, I guess, tied to him or tied to it or whatever.
Ah.
So supposedly he's the one behind like all these new kaiju sightings across Japan, as well as the 46-day break or whatever, like the 46 days without any kaiju emergencies at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess because he's, or at least the way I see it, he really seems to be the strategist and probably leader of the whole kaiju existence potentially. And so I would assume he was behind all of that, and that for that month and a half or whatever, I guess the kaiju were also planning and training, same as the humans were.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's clear that Kaiju number 9 had a plan for a while, and this period was that, I guess, by the time moment.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see how spread out the kaiju were exactly. I still think that being like the leader, I mean, I think at this point he is the leader, but being like, the ultimate creator or the one who started it all doesn't make sense for how long kaiju have been around. Especially how he kind of interacted with the story at the very beginning. It just doesn't make sense to me. But there's no denying that he has some sort of leadership and control over the kaiju to keep them all at bay for however long.
Indeed.
So, anyway, the strategy to spread them out all across Japan and thin out the, gosh, what are they called again? Defense force. The defense force. Duh. It is quite smart, but will it pay off in the end? Not sure. It seems like the defense force has some pretty good up and coming recruits that are quite powerful.
Precisely, and on top of that, as was established last volume or the one before, the defense force are putting their emphasis on the new, like the new recruits that Isao had didn't know very much about. So that's obviously strategic, and seeing as supposedly number 9 has Isao's memories.
Yeah. Did you think it was noteworthy that one of the kaiju specifically could change into a human and then, change back, like the one without a face?
Yes. Are you talking about the one that looked just like a black-haired Kikoru?
Yeah, that one was kind of like, what?
Yeah. I think that is very noteworthy. I was definitely planning on bringing that one up as well, because it seems like that is a kaiju that has a unique ability of mimicking the appearance of people that it sees or that it has seen. Is my takeaway, because we haven't seen kaiju with that type of ability before, and it is Kikoru's appearance, just with black hair. It's the same hairstyle, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw it, I thought it was Kikoru.
Yeah.
But that's even spookier that is with black hair. Now, with Kaiju number 9, he could transform into people, but he had to eat them or absorb them, right?
Yeah, he would have to absorb them or infiltrate them or somehow, yeah. Precisely. Yeah. But this, obviously, Kikoru is fine. Like, she hasn't been taken over by a kaiju or anything. So this seems more like mimicry rather than possession or whatever number 9's ability is exactly.
Interesting.
At least it seems that way to me. So I'm predicting this is going to be a kaiju that we'll see more of, because with an ability like this, I think it could be a pretty big threat, or pretty creepy, and as we've already seen it be, and it kills all those people on the intersection.
Yeah,
it's brutal.
I hope we get to see a one-on-one battle against that one.
Precisely.
More.
Perhaps this is the one that will get the name Kaiju number 11. Who knows?
Maybe. It definitely makes an impression.
Absolutely does, yeah. But yeah, on top of the planning that we've talked about already, it also seems like the kaiju, as they are now emerging, are strategically mostly targeting humanity's infrastructure, which is also like kind of or supposedly kind of a new strategic thing that we haven't seen from kaijus before in this world. So that's pretty bad. Anything else on number 9?
I guess I could bring up Isao here.
Yeah, we can talk about Isao.
Yeah. Somehow he's able to keep his consciousness alive.
Yes, that was
not
interesting.
For long. It seems like maybe even faded away in this volume. I'm unsure. I would have assumed it had already faded away, but maybe this implies that there is a chance to save him, or maybe somehow he'll be able to resist when they confront Kaiju number 9, and somehow able to keep Kaiju number 9 from using the full extent of his powers.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but it does. I don't know. It does seem like that leaves that option open if you have him still somehow conscious.
Right. I wonder. Yeah, that was interesting because I had just assumed that he died when he was consumed by number 9, but I guess it's still a bit unclear exactly what his status is. But when I read this volume, I kind of took it like he was somehow still alive up to now, but that he faded away in this volume and now is maybe actually dead.
That's what I was kind of feeling as well. But you don't know.
No.
Entirely, really, at this point, because both you and I thought he was dead, the god.
Yeah.
Kind of kaput.
Uh-huh.
I could see it could be a thing where his body is gone, taken by Kaiju number 9, but his spirit lives on.
Dude. Oh, I mean, hey, could that tie into like the Ghost Samurai stuff somehow?
Maybe. Hey, that's not a bad thought.
Huh.
That's probably the most exciting thing for me right
yeah,
now.
And that we got none of that in this volume. But
yeah, dang it.
But yeah, I wonder. I mean, because I just desperately want that to come back and get more focus. So
yeah.
And so when you said the word spirit, I'm like, oh, go samurai.
I share in your excitement now.
I wonder, because yeah, he says that he's fading away. I believe something along those lines is what his narration is saying.
Right.
And I guess that doesn't necessarily mean that he's dying. It may just mean that he's I don't know, falling asleep or whatever, like something along those lines.
Yeah, again, his consciousness.
Right. So yeah. I'm excited to find out more about this, if ever. Like, if we don't learn anything else, obviously, then I guess he is completely dead. But it's still interesting. But is there anything else on number 9 or Isao or the kaijus in general?
No, that's it.
Then, do we have anything more on Mina Ashiro that we didn't mention before?
Yeah, sure. I think this shows that even though time has passed, she still knows him pretty well.
Yeah.
Thinks Kafka is pushing himself too far, which is interesting because there always seems to be something extra with Kafka. Like there's, he finally is able to call his friends up and tell them how he's feeling, or he was scared about that. Now he got over that. Before that, he was scared about losing control of Kaiju number 8. And yada. So there's always something wrong with. I mean, that's fine. That's relatable still. But I kind of long for the day where, mentally speaking, he's all in and not just overstraining himself or something like that.
Yeah, right.
I know I'm talking about Kafka here, but Mina's the one who noticed it, and I don't know if Mina's the one that will help him realize that or not. But it's nice that someone is able to see that he's working so hard and maybe pushing himself too much. But
yeah,
I don't know. It doesn't seem like they're going to have much interaction in this next arc anyway. We don't know where Kafka is, but
right.
At least I don't think we do. But
I don't think so either. Not exactly.
I'm not entirely sure if they'll have any sort of moment on the battlefield at all. But I guess that remains to be seen.
For sure. But I thought it was also nice to just in general to get some of her kind of thought monologue, because I feel like we have gotten that before, but that was so long ago.
It's true.
I feel like volume 1, I think there was a part where she was like in the bathtub and she was thinking about stuff.
Yeah.
But
right.
I don't know if we've gotten much of that since then. If there's been some, there hasn't been much anyway. And so I thought it was really nice to see her thoughts about Kafka kind of simultaneously as we were getting Kafka's thoughts about her. And they are kind of along the same lines. So I thought that was very sweet.
Yeah, for sure. Mina has taken a role less in the spotlight, kind of just almost a woman in waiting, also while kicking butt. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Right.
She's not. We don't see too much of her, even though she's doing so much, versus Kikoru, which we see her so much of her progression from the very beginning. It's almost like he made Mina and was like, I don't know what to do with her. Well, I'm gonna go focus on this other girl, or these other characters. Right. I just gotta leave her to dry. I don't know.
Like, part of me still thinks that it's an intentional tease, kind of.
Okay.
That he has a plan, but he wants to hold off on the development and the reveals, I guess, maybe.
Okay.
Until the opportune moment, somehow.
Then this can't be the final arc, then.
I guess in that case, hopefully not. Yeah. No, you're right. No, actually, that is a good point, because I definitely want more Mina focus in the story as a whole. So, yeah, there's no way this is the final arc coming here. No way. Plus, there's 3 kaiju suits that we haven't seen anything of, which we'll get to in predictions, I believe. But there's a whole lot of potential there for like a bunch of new content for the story.
Mm-hmm. For sure. But I'm glad we got something from Mina, especially in this situation where it's not just, I'm your leading officer, don't talk like that to me, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah, precisely. It's very nice. Then next, let's talk a bit about Kikoru Shinomiya.
Oh, yeah.
Yay. She's finally getting to inherit her mom's numbers weapon suit, number 4. And oh my god.
Let's go!
It's so cool and fast. And she flies now.
Yeah. Fastest known weapon and the only one capable of flight.
Uh-huh.
Wow. I did not see that coming.
That is so awesome.
And on top of all that, she arrives on the scene, an electromagnetic catapult device. How sick is that?
That is so sick.
That is like next level bad A. Jeez.
Yes. Yeah, so I can't wait to see more of her in action now. And I also love how the kaiju suit that she got is not replacing her axe. Like, she is still able to wield the axe just the same as before.
Love it.
Just in addition to the suit. So yeah, it's the best. Yeah. It's the best of both worlds. So
taking away her axe would have been a downgrade.
It would have been.
Would have been a downgrade.
Truly. Yeah, I know. So this is so great.
I forget the commander guy's name, but he says that she's the spitting image of both her parents.
Oh yeah, precisely.
I don't know. Kind of sends a little bit of chills. Not complete goosebumps, but a little bit of excitement for her, especially with both her parents passing away. She kind of is their legacy in one.
Precisely, and it's always been like something that she's aspired to be as well. So like in a way, she has achieved that. That's very nice.
Please don't die.
Yeah, no. She is not allowed to die. No. But is that all on her?
Yeah.
Then let's talk a bit about Soshiro Hoshina. He also got his new suit now.
That he did.
And That is very fun. The banter that he has with number 10, like throughout that whole chapter is pretty fun and quite interesting.
Yeah, I guess the lesson here is don't be a control freak. Like, I don't know
Huh.
what. No, I don't know.
I wonder.
I was just kind of joking. Like, what is the lesson to be learned here? Just go with the flow. Like, what? What was the whole point of this banter? I mean, yes, it's entertaining, but it feels like there was a lesson to be learned.
I wonder.
But
Um,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. I hadn't really thought about necessarily a lesson being learned from that, but that would be awesome if there was. Hopefully, if there is, it will become clearer in the next volume.
I mean, this whole time he's fighting against Kaiju, or really Kaiju number 10 is refusing to listen to him.
Uh-huh.
And then he's like, fine, we'll do it your way. So in that way, they're gonna follow each other. I don't know. I guess we gotta see what happens in the next chapter. But
right, yeah, because I don't necessarily think that their bantering or their dispute or whatever. I don't think that's all over with.
I don't know. It does seem like it suddenly clicked and they're about to just kick everybody's butt.
I mean, that would be cool, but still, like, both of them say in the end, follow me even if it kills you. They both say that to the others, so it's like they're still fighting. I guess.
I see it as operating as one all of a sudden.
Okay.
But well, I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong. And then at that point I was like, okay, then where are we going with this?
I wonder. Yeah.
But it is interesting to have a talking weapon, and having Kaiju number 10's personality there is fun. But I am frustrated that it is this difficult. I guess it shouldn't be always easy for these characters, but it's kind of annoying that number 10 is just fighting back, or not really fighting back, but doing his own thing, doing the exact opposite all the time. I don't know. I guess I didn't like it as much as I thought I would. I'm sure it'll resolve, and then it'll be really awesome.
I hope so. I have something on this that I'm saving for predictions.
Okay.
But yeah, it is interesting. Or rather, I think there's potential for something interesting to come of this. There was a bonus page between two of the chapters in the volume with a drawing of Kaiju number 10 and a little text that says, it's a note from Matsumoto, and it says, I had always planned for Kaiju number 10 to gain an interest in Hoshina after fighting him, so I gave him an eye, and in parentheses, eyes, that goes from slit to open, just like Hoshina's. So that's I think that's a pretty funny little author's comment about the design of number 10, how they both have kind of slit eyes.
That's funny.
Although obviously look very different. Yeah. Anyway, anything else on Hoshina or number 10?
No.
Any other characters you want to talk about? Because I'm out of characters for now.
Nanami, he's using the complete weapons number 1. I think that's
true
for the first time, isn't it? That we've seen.
Right. I believe it seemed like the implication was that he hadn't ever used like the full suit ever before. Yeah. Only the eyes. So yeah, that is actually a pretty big thing.
Yeah, it makes him pretty terrifyingly powerful.
Yeah.
So, back that up. That's all I'm saying. Go kill Kaiju number 9.
Oh. Yeah.
Then there was that guy Toku. Do you remember him? The one who was marrying off his daughter.
Right.
Was he in a previous?
I believe he was in the first volume, working like a colleague of Kafka.
He was working
Kafka's, right?
He was a colleague of Kafka.
I think so, or maybe Kafka's boss. At the very least, he worked with the same kind of stuff as Kafka. I think.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely worked up with the kaiju cleanup.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if he knew Nanami as Captain Nanami or whatever, I feel like he must have been. Yeah, it must have been Kafka's boss in some way.
Yeah, or actually, like, I feel like Narumi is kind of a famous person.
That's true.
To be fair, but still, yeah.
That's true. But yeah, that must be where he's from. I don't know. It was sad to see that whole marriage fall apart. I hope his daughter is all right. I know that Narumi ended up killing that monster, but gosh, she got bit pretty bad.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, she did.
It wasn't a clean cut in half, of course.
No.
But it was a bite, so that's.
Yeah, no. I thought that she was done for. Like she was gonna die and be eaten there.
Yeah.
Narumi really came in last second.
Very last second.
And
that's it.
Okie dokie. Then moving into our predictions. So, numbers weapons 3, 5, and 7 seem to have some potential candidates, as is mentioned by some of the Defense Force guys. And I guess I'm just wondering if there are any ones that we know. Probably, or at least some of them ought to be some people that we know, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's nice now. We kind of have all of the weapon number weapons suits. Kind of we kind of know about all of them. We know that Narumi has number 1. Isao had number 2, so that's with number 9 now, I guess technically. Number 3 is one of the unused ones. Kikoru has number 4. Number 5 is an unused. Reno has number 6. Number 7 is unused. Kafka is number 8. Number 9 obviously is out there as a kaiju. And Soshiro has number 10.
Yeah. I think Iharu is a good option.
Yes.
For one of them. He had some sort of potential that was noticed by whatever his name was.
Yeah, right.
And I don't know. He seemed pretty against the weapons in general.
Yeah, after his experience with it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I don't think that could necessarily mean that Iharu couldn't be compatible with one and go down that route anyway.
Precisely. And then there's 2 other guys. Like, I feel like it kind of adds up with the amount of remaining suits being 3, and we have Iharu, and then there's those 2 other guys from the
who do nothing. Yeah,
precisely. We haven't seen them in a while, but they're still. I still feel like they're noteworthy enough that they could qualify for getting these last suits.
Maybe. Yeah, I think it would probably legitimize them in my eyes.
Right. So I hope they will get it.
But on the other hand, it would be a nice way to introduce another new character. Give someone interesting. I mean, because honestly, I don't find those other 2 interesting. Obviously, he can make them interesting, of course.
Precisely, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, and that's fair too.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because I think it would be more interesting to bring back one of those guys, since they have been a part of the story, albeit small, than to just bring in someone brand new. Because whoever is brought in has got to be a new recruit. So I feel like that's strategically the best, right? Because of the whole Kaiju number 9 potentially having Isao's memories. And I feel like that strengthens the 2 of them as candidates.
Fair.
But yeah, it's very interesting. But regarding my Soshiro and Kaiju number 10 prediction, one kind of dark idea that came to mind for me was that Soshiro eventually wouldn't be able to control the suit at all. And instead of him wielding number 10, it would end up being Kaiju number 10 wielding, I guess, quote unquote, Soshina. Or Soshiro, sorry. Hoshina, Soshiro.
Hoshina.
And I think that could be an interesting kind of potentially partially tragic thing that could happen. And it would be obviously a huge loss for the humans. For one, losing a kaiju suit like that, but more than that, losing Hoshina, who is like obviously one of their most skilled kaiju combatants. That said, though, I don't think it's going to at the end of the day or at the end of the whole thing. I don't think it's gonna be super tragic potentially. I don't think it would spell the end for Soshiro. I think he would come out okay in the end of it, but I could see it like for a while perhaps that he would be under control of Kaiju number 10 kind of. The way things are going, I could see that.
Okay. I don't see it that way. I think that could be an interesting part. I think Kaiju number 10 has given too much interest into Hoshina for there to be like a portrayal like this. I don't think he's on the kaiju side anymore. I don't think he's on the human side either. I just think he's on his own path of what is most interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I do think, for me personally, I guess that's what thinking implies. I believe that the end of this chapter does imply that they have a melding of wills at the very end, even after all of that. Or at least Hoshina is giving a bit of himself, giving a bit of his will up so that they can make this work. That's what I'm thinking it's at. But hey, I could be wrong. And maybe there's going to be even more frustration between the two. Or eventually Hoshina just takes complete control.
And yeah, I mean, I could definitely also see kind of what you're saying. Like, they kind of find a way to compromise between one another, sort of, in order to make things work. I definitely could read it that way as well.
It feels like Hoshina has to do most of the compromising.
True.
In this case.
You're right.
Very, very strong-willed.
Yeah. Yeah, even after the threat of being destroyed, like having the suit be destroyed, he still is resisting that as he is. So, yeah.
That's what was so frustrating. It's like, anyway.
It is frustrating, and that it was that determination from Kaiju number 10 that kind of got me thinking about this, because it is you are right that number 10 definitely has a strong interest in Soshiro, and I think that could extend to him wanting to more or less control Soshiro and Soshiro's capabilities and use those capabilities for himself. Not that I think that he's necessarily with the other kaijus, but whatever his motives are, I could still see him wanting to control Soshiro. But yeah. Do you have any other predictions?
As is typical, I've kind of sprinkled them throughout a little bit. Isayo being alive. This is start of a big battle arc, I'm sure.
Oh yes.
And I'll bring up again the new numbered kaiju. I feel like we can get that in this volume, specifically that Lalita Harajuku looking one. I think that there's a strong chance they could be named kaiju number 11.
For sure.
It would be interesting if the baton is passed in a way, if kaiju number 9 is defeated, but kaiju number 11 lives on and somehow assumes control and has their own set of plans and strategies to try, to take over the world. I don't know. A thought.
Right. I wonder. Yeah. I think that the part of me that wants number 9 to stay around, which is a huge part of me, I feel that way because I like a villain that sticks around from the start of the story to the end of it. Kind of. Those are generally the types of villains that I love the most. And so I think...
But they gotta be deep for that to happen. Kaiju number 9 is not deep. He's just this malicious being that we all hate, of course. But there's no depth to him.
Fair. I guess there could be, like... I agree with you, though. There isn't much depth at the moment.
I guess it remains to be seen.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I guess it depends. If Matsumoto has plans to flesh out number 9, then I'm absolutely hoping that he will stick around. If there are no such plans, though, then yeah, I guess I'm fine with him being switched out. But something that just occurred to me, and it may not actually mean anything, but the first panel that we see of the supposed Kaiju number 11, she's holding her phone, and I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but
devious.
Kaiju number 9 was talking to someone on the phone many volumes ago.
Oh, was she really? Oh, wait, hold up.
Number 9, number 9, like back in volume.
Sorry, I thought
something like that.
I thought you were saying the one that looked like Kikoru was talking on the phone.
Oh yeah,
sorry.
no, but she is holding a phone, which just now just spontaneously got me thinking that what if this was the one that number 9 was talking to on the phone, and that they've been planning things together for a while, and I guess if that's true, then definitely we'll see this kaiju more.
Yeah, I like it. We can't overlook that telephone call. I refuse to overlook it. It has to mean something.
Precisely. Very well. Next time we get a new Kaiju number 8 volume, we will have the same amount of volumes as numbered Kaiju. At least so far.
Nice.
Maybe the next volume will introduce the Kaiju number 11 officially, so maybe then we won't actually be at the same number, but whatever. I'm definitely excited for this arc that's coming here. It seems like it's going to be a big one, and maybe a very kind of chaotic one and destructive one based on what's been established about it here.
Yeah.
But I guess that's it for this week.
Yep.
Great. Then, if you enjoy our content, you can follow us on Twitter at Umami Manga, and it would be lovely if you'd like to support us by rating our show on the podcast platforms and subscribing to our channel Umami Manga on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time when we'll talk about Volume 10. Bye bye!
See you later!
By the way, something that when I was watching my power up scream, I I don't know. Like I think it'll be fine. Like it's passable and what. Like I don't feel the need to redo it or anything like that. But it kind of looks like I'm trying to squeeze out a turd.
Well, I think that means you're doing it right. Because that's what all Dragon Ball Z characters look like when they.
Okay, good.